When most people think of Bonanza, they think of the Cartwright family, Ben, Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe, riding across the Ponderosa, living out adventures in the Wild West. The series became a household name during the 1,960 seconds and 70 seconds, offering wholesome family values, dramatic storytelling, and plenty of heartwarming moments. But what fans saw on television was only part of the story. Behind the cameras, the set of Bonanza was filled with untold stories, shocking truths, and unexpected challenges that even lifelong fans would be surprised to hear. One of the biggest secrets involves Michael Landon, who played the spirited Little Joe. Landon wasn't just satisfied with being in front of the camera. Early in the series, he began pushing for more creative control, often volunteering to write and direct episodes himself. At first, producers didn't take him seriously, but his talent quickly proved undeniable. Over time, Landon became one of the driving creative forces on the show, and this experience laid the groundwork for his later success with Little House on the Prairie. But behind his success was a fierce determination that sometimes caused tension, as Landon wasn't afraid to challenge producers or stand his ground when it came to how the show should look and feel. While Landon was climbing creatively, not all cast members were happy. Pernell Roberts, who played the eldest son Adam Cartwright, grew increasingly frustrated with the series. Roberts felt the writing was too shallow, and that the show didn't explore real social issues in depth. He was outspoken about his criticism, which didn't sit well with producers or network executives. His frustration boiled over, and Roberts eventually walked away from the series at the height of its success, a move that stunned fans who couldn't understand why anyone would leave one of the most popular shows on television. The set itself was also a dangerous place. Bonanza was packed with action, horse chases, barroom brawls, and shootouts. Unlike today, when strict safety rules govern television productions, the 1,960-second set of Bonanza was far less regulated. Actors often performed stunts themselves, and injuries were common. Michael Landon suffered more than once during filming, but he kept quiet to avoid slowing down production. The expectation was clear. The show had to go on, no matter what. And then there was the issue of money. As Bonanza grew into one of NBC's biggest hits, cast members like Lorne Greene, Dan Blocker, and Michael Landon began to realize just how much the network was profiting from their work. Behind the scenes, heated salary negotiations took place, with threats of walkouts and disputes that were carefully kept from the public. NBC knew the show couldn't survive without its beloved stars, and eventually compromises were reached. But the battles over money were as fierce as any gunfight on the Ponderosa. Still, the set wasn't always tense. Dan Blocker, who played the gentle giant Hoss Cartwright, was known as the prankster of the cast. Despite his large and intimidating appearance, Blocker had a playful personality and often pulled practical jokes on both cast and crew. His light-hearted nature balanced out the pressure of long filming days, and he was adored by everyone around him. Tragically, his sudden death in 1972 not only devastated his co-stars but also signaled the beginning of the end for Bonanza. The chemistry of the Cartwright family simply wasn't the same without Hoss. Perhaps the most shocking truth of all is that Bonanza almost didn't survive its first year. When it premiered in 1959, ratings were disappointingly low, and NBC seriously considered pulling the plug. The only reason it was saved was because it was one of the first shows broadcast in full color. NBC's parent company, RCA, wanted to promote their new color television sets, and Bonanza became the perfect showcase. This corporate decision to keep the show alive for marketing purposes is what allowed it to grow into a television juggernaut, running for 14 seasons and becoming one of the longest-running westerns in history. There were also countless smaller secrets hidden in the scripts and production process. Episodes were occasionally rewritten to cover for actors' absences, injuries, or even disagreements. Pernell Roberts' reduced role before his departure was quietly explained in storylines, while Landon's behind-the-scenes influence became more and more obvious as the years went on. Cast changes, real-life tragedies, and network politics all left fingerprints on the show, even if fans watching at home never noticed. The truth is, Bonanza wasn't just a television western, it was a show held together by determination, compromise, and sometimes sheer luck. Behind the warm family dynamic that America fell in love with were caste disagreements, dangerous stunts, corporate maneuvering, and untold struggles. These hidden stories reveal that the Cartwrights' biggest challenges didn't always come from outlaws or rival ranchers on the screen, but from the very real pressures of keeping one of America's most beloved shows alive. So, the next time you watch Ben, Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe ride across the Ponderosa, remember that behind the wholesome family adventures was a cast and crew battling their own private dramas. The untold stories of the Bonanza set prove that even in the golden age of television, life behind the scenes was just as dramatic as the stories playing out on screen.